What is up, everybody? This is Decreeby, and we are here again with our second episode of how to write in Dovahzul. Now, if you haven't seen the first episode, I'll leave a link somewhere around here in the page and in the description below. Make sure to check that out if you haven't yet, because that's going to be very important if you want to write in the dragon language, obviously, as it contains all the basic characteristics. Now, today we are going to be covering all the special characteristics, and as you can see in this left column, these are official, these are in the game, these are actual writings, actual letters in the dragon language. And if you see these ones on the right over here, these four are ones that I actually made up to help those who don't want to write or learn the language and they just want to write in English using dragon language characteristics, or the characters, but don't want to learn the actual words. And so they're basically using it as a secret code or something of the sort. That's what I'm creating these for. That's who I'm helping out with these. And so I just chose some special characteristics that I think make unique noises that should have their own character, such as C, CH, SH, and TH, but we'll go over those last. Now, if you haven't checked out the Dovahzul app on the Android or Apple market, definitely go check that out. I didn't say before, but I honestly found this app this morning. The dude who made it didn't contact me. It's absolutely free, by the way. They didn't contact me. I'm not doing this for anything. I just actually think it's a very useful thing when using and speaking in the dragon language, especially as you are learning it. So make sure to check that out. I'm not sure if it's on the Apple market yet or if it will ever be. Hopefully it is. If you know, put it in a comment below whether it is or not. Now, if you don't actually, before I get into it, as I had forgotten before, if you don't have pen and paper handy, make sure to go grab some, because I'm going to be going over this as fast as I can, even though it is still kind of slow. But make sure you have pen and paper handy so that you can write down each of the characters and be able to memorize them and work on them on your own. But let's go ahead and just jump right in. We'll start with AA. Now, if you don't remember, the A character looks like somewhat like that. I did that fairly quickly, but the A character looks kind of like that. And so the AA is actually very similar to this, and basically you want your big line going through the middle, and then your character down here is actually going to be at the bottom pointing up. And that is your AA. Your AH is very similar to, if you remember Z is like that. Your AH is going to be a medium line at the top, medium one at the middle going to the bottom, and then medium top to middle. Actually, I think this one is even supposed to come up just a hair bit and be about medium with these two right here. And so that is your AH here. And now we are moving on to EI. Now, if you remember, and this, I'm writing these ones off to the side so that you can remember, don't mix these up at all. This is A, this is Z, and this one is V. If you remember, the V looked just like that. Now the EI looks very similar to the V, so don't get them mixed up. You got your middle mark just like that. You've got your middle line coming down, except you have a dot right there. And that is the only difference between those, is this little, instead of being a little mark over here, you've got a little dot. Now EI, you want that big middle mark. Now you want to take your dot and you want to move it above your line here, this little hashtag bit, and you're going to take your little scratch, and instead of being pointed diagonal that way, you're going to actually point it up. Something like that. And you got your EY. Now your I is very similar to your G. If you remember, your G looks something like that. Now your II is going to be just like that, except you're going to add a character, and that character is going to be right about there. So you see you got those three marks, and then you got the dot. Actually, the dot, I think, comes up just a hair bit and kind of comes close to this line there. And so it's something closer to that. And then your IR is actually a really neat one. I like it. You got a big line going across the top. You got a diagonal one just like that. So it's like you're starting B or E, which in those you'd put the B would be down here. I would be up there. But in this case, you're actually going to bring it across. And just like that, you're going to move it right there. That's a pretty neat one. I always like that one. Now your OO is another very unique character. As you know, a lot of these are fairly similar. There's not a lot that are unique to themselves, but this one is actually fairly unique. And I really like it for that. And you're going top up a little bit, over, bottom up, and you're going to have a dot like right about there. And so it's going to look something like that. I actually think this comes up closer to the middle. Something like that. Leave a link in the description of an image that you can look at all the characteristics and you can see them uniquely as they're used in Skyrim, so that, you know, you don't get mixed up, and if I'm doing it wrong or whatever, I'll have a link so you can see and make sure you're doing it absolutely right. But now we're going to move on to you, R, and UU. Now UR looks a lot like O, and if you remember, O is like this, and I told you to be very careful to make sure these bottoms line up with the tips here, and that's because UR goes like that, and then you have one right where the O was, except it's going to extend longer, and then over here, and it's going to extend longer, and that's your UR. And if you want to look at those, you see this one was G, and this one is O, but you can see how the O is very similar to the UR, so it's very easy to get those mixed up. So make sure not to, because that would be very, very bad. Now your UU is actually another fairly simple one. It's close to your M. You remember M? Just like that, kind of like, it's a little sloppy, but you know. And it's gonna start the same, only the second mark, it's gonna be top down instead of bottom up. So you see it's kind of flipped the opposite way from the M, from over here. And so that's all the ones that are actually used in the dragon language in Skyrim, and would be very useful when you're actually using the dragon words that of their language, Dovahzul, as I call it. These next ones are basically going to be for, I wouldn't use them if you're actually translating into the actual language, only use these if you're making English words into dragon writing. So if you're actually going to be writing in English, use these ones. And these ones I all made up. They are not used in Skyrim whatsoever, they're not official, but I think that we could use them and need them, so I made them up, and I'm going to show them to you right here. They're very, very easy, very, very simple. Now your C, if you remember your N, you see it's like that. It's going to be just like that, only the dot is going to be in between the two lines instead of on top of them. Your CH is going to be very simple. You want to make your C and add a little bottom mark going from the bottom up. Now your SH and your TH are very easy. You want to start with your H form. You remember H looks just like that. And you're going to do this. Now S, if you remember, S looks like this. And so basically what I did is, oh, well, this kind of looks like this, so why don't I take this little piece and transfer it over onto the H, and you have your SH right there. So it's basically, so for both SH and TH, you're taking your S or your H form and you're adding onto it. And so for SH, you're gonna add that piece right here, and for TH, you're gonna add one right up there. If you remember, it was something like that. And basically we're taking one of these and we're throwing them on top over here. So you got your TH of your basic H form, you're just throwing that piece on, and then for SH, you're throwing that piece on. And that is it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. We may continue the series on actually how to speak it. Last time I tried doing it, I just picked a bunch of random little words that I thought would be easy to remember. This time it's gonna be structured. It's gonna be, we're gonna be learning I, you, he, she, they, we, defining as a person first, and then as episodes go on, it will be a more structured thing to hopefully make learning it and speaking it a lot easier for everybody. But I will only continue this if you guys enjoy it. So make sure, if you did enjoy this video, to leave a like, make sure to subscribe, share, favorite, add to playlists, make sure to leave a comment telling me what you thought of it, telling me what you can improve, telling me what you want me to do in the future, anything you want. I really appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully we can continue this, because I really like to do this, but I'd have to learn the language all over again. But I'm willing to do it because it is a lot of fun. So if you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, and I will see you guys next time.